Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rebel Crow Psychic Show with your host, Athena Silver.
Hey
And
guys, I'm Anja River.
hi. Today, I want you guys to get cozy in your sleeping bags. We're up by a warm campfire. It's nice and dark because it's time for some ghost stories.
Yes, tell me some ghost stories. Can you tell I'm so excited?
Me too. I've been so excited to do this one. So if you guys don't know, Anya and I are psychics. You know, we're able to speak to the spirit world. I have the ability to perceive them through sight, through sound, through feeling, sometimes even smell and taste, depending on who's doing what. A lot of times if somebody likes to smoke, I'll smell cigar smoke or cigarette smoke. It comes and goes. It depends. Now I've had this sensation, these gifts since I was a kid. They've developed over time. But for me, ghost stories have always been interesting because I've had a lot of encounters with the people on the other side of the veil. So it started when I was young. So I figured, why not tell a ghost story from my youth? What do you think?
Please do. Absolutely, please do.
All right. So Anya and I are cousins. So you know the characters in this story. It took place at our great grandparents' house in Ellenville, New York. If people don't know Ellenville, it's upstate. It's very, very woodsy. It's like in the forest. There was a lot of Native American people in that area. It was a sacred area. There was a lot of like tribal council meetings and stuff like that, and burials. So just to preface it, so you understand the spooky nature here. I was a kid. I was probably about, I want to say 6 or 7. No, it was probably about 5 or 6 at the time. I was young. There was a family party. It was for Grandpa's birthday. He was turning 80 something at the time.
I think I remember this day.
Yeah. So Ellenville at the time was really far away from where I was living with my family. And so we took the trip up and we were going to stay over that night. They lived in a 3-level condo, like townhouse kind of thing, which was new construction, brand new construction. No, but there was just woods there before. Which nobody really thought anything of it. So we went to the party. They moved in. They were living there for, I want to say, a couple months at the time, maybe a year. There was other weird occurrences there, but I was always, whenever I went to that house, I would only stay in the middle level. I would never go into the basement, and I would never go upstairs by myself. I felt like I was being watched every single time I went into that house. Like it felt like there was 1,000 eyeballs watching my every move.
Interesting.
And it's funny because I talked to my sister about this a long time ago, and she said the same thing, that she was always afraid to go walk around that house by herself because it always felt like you were being followed, and it just had this eerie feeling. I would see a lot of shadows that moved really quickly in that house too. So that definitely had something to do with it. So anyway, everybody was down in the basement for this party. It was in the evening. The adults were doing slideshows because they had just come back from vacation. I think they went to Spain. And so they were showing slideshows to everyone, and it got really late. The adults were partying, we're Puerto
Like
Rican,
usual.
so it's an all-day party.
You're totally sparking all of my memories right now. I do remember this day.
Yeah, it was a weird one. So it got late, it was probably later at night. I was little, so I'm not sure exactly what time it was, but my mother took me and my sister upstairs into the spare room. Now, the way that this house was situated was that you go upstairs and there was this corridor that it only had a wall on one side and it was a gate on the other, so it was open. There was 2 bedrooms, one at each side of the corridor. This side was where my great-grandparents' bedroom was, and this side was the guest room. So we were sleeping in the guest room on the floor. And I had my head looking out towards the doorway so I could see down that corridor into the other room. And it was it was like late, but everybody was downstairs. So there was absolutely no one upstairs. So I'm sleeping, I'm getting ready for sleep. I'm, laying down, and all of a sudden I see this giant shadow shoot up. It looked like somebody ran up the stairs, stopped on the top of the stairs in the middle of the corridor, looked my way, turned around and ran into the room on the other side and disappeared.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, it gets even weirder because I remember it took me a while. It took me a long time to remember it, but I finally recovered the memory, about 10 years ago. I was doing past, like a regression type of class, like how to slow down and recover memories that, from really long time ago. And this happened to be the memory that resurfaced, was that it was a spirit that came of a Native American man, because he had like a couple of little feathers in his hair, and his hair was long, and he had like, it looked like almost like he had them locked, like his hair was locked.
Mm-hmm.
And he was wearing like these like brown like leather pants, and no, like he wasn't wearing a shirt or anything. And I remember he had paint across the bottom of his eyes. And he looked at me, gave me like this shocked look, and ran and disappeared into the other room. And as soon
Do you
as he
think he was
disappeared,
shocked because you saw him?
maybe, I never thought about it, but he just looked really shocked, like, oh, and ran. And as soon as he disappeared, the door in the room that I was in slammed shut.
No way.
Yeah, it was freaky. And
Oh my God.
went under my pillows, was like, ah, what the hell? So the next morning, I'm a curious kid. I want to know what the hell I just saw. I go downstairs and I start asking the adults. I'm like, did anybody come up, about 20 minutes after we went upstairs? And they're like, no, we were downstairs. We were all downstairs. We were drinking, we were partying, we were having fun, so, and like, I asked everybody. And then I did some research after that memory recovered about the land that property is on. Apparently it was a Native American burial site that was disturbed.
Oh my gosh.
So there was all sorts of weird occurrences in that house. I've had multiple encounters in that house. And at some point I was so happy they left it. And I asked
Really?
our great grandmother years later about that house, when I was an adult. And she said, oh yeah, that house was a vortex.
Really?
She's like, there was things coming in and out of everywhere. She said that she had even seen spirits of birds in her house.
Wow.
She said she said it was that the land wasn't right. And
Because of
but she didn't know that, but come to find out that was what she meant, was that the land wasn't right because it was disturbed when they built the
but
house.
she didn't know that it was disturbed. You found this out later on?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really interesting.
And it's
stuck
with me ever since.
And so sad. I mean, the Ellenville, when you're talking about Ellenville is just gorgeous.
It's picturesque.
When you drive up and there's that huge cliff and all the hang gliders go there, and it's just so idyllic and beautiful.
And trees everywhere. It was beautiful. And our great grandparents used to have a beautiful garden there and flowers and everything. And they were always good because they stayed close to nature, close to the land. So they were always gardening and, fertilizing and tending. So I think the spirits liked and felt comfortable around them. But
yeah. So they weren't negative presences in the house. They were just in the house.
Yeah, they were all over the place. There was some negative stuff that happened. There was definitely something downstairs that was very negative, because I would avoid downstairs like the plague. I would not go down there for anything, or I would make my sister come downstairs with me, because it would leave me alone if I had somebody with me.
Right. But that was also like the sub basement where ostensibly there were graves at some point.
That's my thinking. That's my thinking. Is what happened is they wound up relocating and reburying them at the border of the property.
Why would they do, why do condo developers do that?
I don't
I
know,
mean,
but
there's so much space.
and
Don't do that.
if anybody's familiar with the Hudson Valley in New York, there are burials everywhere.
Okay, well, maybe that's why
Revolutionary
they did that.
burials, Native American burials, early colonialist burials. We got burials every square foot, you know. And it's almost like you don't even know what you're standing on.
Yeah, right.
I quick story before we get into yours, because yours is good. I went to a historical house down by Fishkill, New York. It's over off of Route 9. It's I think it's the Van Wyck Homestead or Van Wyck Homestead.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw a full-blown man in the doorway when I was in the kitchen, the original kitchen of that house when I went.
Really?
Wow. I was on a tour. I was in a tour group, and I was, you know how I am. I'm nosy. So I was poking around, looking up, ooh, what's this,
Well,
and I turned around, I felt somebody watching me, and I thought it was a human, like a flesh and blood. And I turned around really quick, and I just caught him at the corner of my eye. It was this big man, and he was wearing like these very old-fashioned clothes. Like he looked like he was working in a field or something, like manual labor.
Yeah.
And like he was just watching me, and he didn't, I don't think he wanted to hurt me or anything. I think he was just watching.
Curious. Maybe
Yeah.
he was, because they definitely, so Athena definitely has the sight, like you can see them. I've only seen them a few times. I can hear, but Athena is a very gifted medium. She's got more skills than I do, for sure. And if anybody out there needs some help talking or communicating, please go to her. She's great.
Oh, thank you, girl. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. You're really good. She's helped me. Well, that's one of the stories that I have for you guys tonight.
Why don't you tell that one?
I would love to. So when I first moved into my house was built in 1820. And
by the way, I have to say her house is fairy tale beautiful.
Thank you.
It looks like a doll house.
I fell in love with it when I was 8. Got to buy it when I was like 29 or something like that. Anyway, so my husband and I moved in, and it was just the two of us, no kids yet, and no one else was living here. And the first night, it was April, the windows were closed, and there were plant chains that the previous owners left and inside the windows, and they were rattling, and there was no window open in the room. And I heard somebody walk up the stairs, and I was freaking out. I really thought it was an alive person, because we just moved in, and who knows, there was a compromise, something somewhere. And I told my husband, please go check that out, and he went. There was nobody. The next day I woke up and I walked past one of the bedrooms, and the door was open. Doors must be a portal of some kind, because I was able to see for like one of the first times. It was so quick, but it was like this older man in a uniform, and it was just like flash gone. And I kind of knew exactly what was going on at that point. Like, he seemed like kind of a negative character, and he proved to be a pretty negative character. And what's funny is because my mom is not part of the same family that Athena and I are from. She's my other side, but my mom raised me very Christian, but she had a witch background in her childhood, and she was really good at connecting with spirits. So she taught me some stuff when I was young. And I think I had a lot more spirit contact when I was young. And what she taught me was like, you never be afraid, like they're just people. And if someone is offending you or crossing boundaries, you just stand up like you would to a person, an alive person. So I realized what was going on, and I was like, oh, this guy does not like us here, and he's trying to intimidate us. So I walked by the room and I was like, hey, I live here now. We pay taxes. I get that you really like this house and this must have been your house at some point. You need to be quiet at night if we're going to get some sleep so that we can go to work and pay the mortgage and keep this house standing. We got to work together.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to lay it out for them sometimes.
Because he was a person, you know? So he has his goals. He has his, you know,
Yeah,
he
he
has
paid
what he
taxes
wants.
once upon a time.
Right. And he loves this house just like I love this house. So that worked for a long time. Now, mind you, I had a really bad relationship with this spirit and he did not like me. And I'm going to let you tell the part about later on.
Okay, so this is the fun part of this story.
Hated me.
So she was having a lot of visitation issues with him. He was coming up and wasn't he smelling up the upstairs bathroom out of nowhere?
No, he was watching me in the shower.
Oh,
But
yeah, that's what it was.
But he hated me because he's a misogynist and I'm a strong woman.
Exactly.
Who doesn't take shit.
So she called me over and she was like, listen, we got to do something about this dude. I don't know what's going on with him. So I was like, all right, let's channel the guy. Out the gate, he did not like me. And he goes, I know what you are. You're a witch. You do black magic and you take what you want. And
wait, let's stop for a second. You do not do black magic. I
don't.
everybody to know that.
No. He was going off of his old timey bias. All right. That's
hates women, hates powerful women.
This dude was not a nice guy. From what I could gather, he came from a time when slavery was still happening,
I well, okay, so there was quote unquote no slavery in the North, but I think there were still house slaves, and my house definitely could have had a house slave. And
there was slavery in the North.
Yeah, but I mean, like, a lot of people will say there was no slavery in the North, but anyway, whatever.
No, historically there definitely was.
Right.
But anyway, so that's the kind of character we're working with here, so he just went off on me. I don't like you, and you guys do the devil's work and all this stuff, blah blah blah. He didn't like, though, that we were calling answers out of him, because at one point he didn't want to answer our questions, so we started pulling on his energy, forcing him to answer, and he started calling us nasty names.
Do you remember? You can tell what he called me. I have no problems with that.
I don't remember.
It was something like the woman with the big balls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The bull balls or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Something like that.
Now, I'm anatomically a woman, so that's not what's going on. It was a metaphor.
I think it was like, because you wear the pants and you're very dominant. I think that's what he was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. And he hated me for it.
Oh yeah. And basically at the end of it, we were like,
still watched me in the shower though.
Yeah. We're like, listen, you need to be respectful. Women have rights now. We can vote. We
can vote.
One day we'll be in the White House.
I have my own credit card.
Right. I have my own car. But you don't even know what that is. But it was an interesting exercise to connect with that guy, because I don't typically channel hostile spirits like that. He was very hostile and very angry. I feel like he felt like that was, I feel like he built that house.
I really feel like he was the first occupant.
Yeah.
If he didn't build it, he definitely oversaw what was going on. Yeah, because he had such an investment in this place.
And that's the thing we had to make clear to him, was that we're not trying to make you leave. We're just trying to make you play on the team. Like, there's
eventually I made him leave because he was getting really bad.
Wow.
But at that moment, I was trying to work with him. I was like, you can stay. I get what's going on. You love this place. I love it too. Be respectful.
But he needed to cross over, because he was causing damage to himself and everybody around. He was even he was even tormenting someone in your house too.
Yeah. Well, two people. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
And he was causing a lot of disruption. So, that when that does happen, you can cross them over. It's very detailed. It's not something you should try on your own. It should only be done by somebody who's very experienced and trained in it. But there are things you can do to protect your family if you're having a hostile spirit in your home.
Let's talk about that. So I saged a lot, first of all. There was another trick that I really thought was great. It's camphor and vinegar.
Yep.
Camphor and vinegar. You can get the camphor at like Indian grocery stores.
Yeah, they have them at spiritual stores too, like Botanicas and stuff.
Like little tablets. And I would always threaten and be like, I'm gonna get the camphor out. You better behave.
Also, if you salt the boundaries of your house, get like crushed, like coarse sea salt, and throw it like in the boundaries, in the corners, under the windows, in the doorways.
But that's not going to work if they're already inside, is it? I mean,
it does. Just by having the salt causes them, they don't have the same power because the salt actually like sucks the power out of the air, so they can't manifest.
What I used to do is after I was tired of him. I mean, I was tired of him watching me in the shower the whole time, but I would put a line of salt in the entranceway to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So that I could have some privacy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things you could do. You can do like a house cleansing with copal, like copal resin on a charcoal tablet, and go room to room and really like smoke the house. Granted, disconnect your batteries to your smoke detectors because you are going to smoke it out.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you turn them back on when you're done. But just getting that energy and purifying it and circulating it helps, because they like, especially with the hospital ones, some of them will feed off of energy, and especially negative energy. So you got to clear them out. It puts up like a barrier that they can't cross until the barrier thins. So that's why you have to keep doing it and go back.
Certain stones help too, like onyx, I think, and black stones. Like tourmaline. What would you recommend? Tourmaline?
Jet, obsidian.
Yes, that's great. I had a little bit of that. I had that too in the hallway upstairs for a long time.
Yeah.
I had a question for you, and so we were going to talk about imprints because there's different types of spirits.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about imprints?
Yeah, we can for a little bit. Okay. So there are times where there's certain types of spirits. Some spirits come in and they are full-blown manifestation ghosts. They're people that had hard lives that refuse to cross over, that want to stay there. They may be staying there waiting for their child to come home if the child was lost, or they could be staying there to, for some unfinished business of some sort. It's unique to the spirits you come across. But some of them just stay because that's their home, and they keep coming back. A lot of times when I come across a spirit, they will show me their pain. So they'll show me if somebody shot them, or if somebody beat them or took advantage of them. They'll just keep replaying the same damage in a loop over and over and over again. And you can tell that they're suffering. So a lot of times I will ask for their permission. I will ask them some questions and ask them, how are you feeling? Is this where you need to be? What are you waiting for? Would you like me to help you cross over? Would you like to go home to your loved ones? Sometimes they have to get, they get stuck in the cycle and they just don't know how to get out. But then there's some of them that choose to be there. It's almost like their penance for the way that they lived. There's also some spirits that have to be forgiven by the living in order to cross over. They either stole, hurt, robbed, took advantage of people, and they need that permission from the people they wronged in order to cross over.
Right.
And
so sorry, go on.
No, you go.
When I was talking about imprints, I mean, there's a specific type of energy that happens. So I just want everybody to know that sometimes you're not dealing with a full spirit, that sometimes when there was something that happened that was really intense,
Oh
you
yeah.
can see like a flash. Like if you see like a spirit, it looks like a spirit, but it's actually just like a memory, like a holographic memory,
Yeah,
because
I had
something
a panic
happened.
attack at Ellis Island because of that.
And you might see or hear, but
Yeah.
an imprint isn't actually a spirit. So I don't
No.
know if any of this stuff would work, like saging or tourmaline or anything like that. It's just like something really traumatic happened, and you kind of pick up on that energy, and you might see or hear something, but it's just a holograph.
That's how it is in Gettysburg.
Really?
You'll hear the salutes and stuff, and you'll hear gunshots, and you hear them around the same time of the day. It's because they're, that's what happens. It's like a time loop. It
Hmm.
keeps happening energetically. So it's not that they're there. It's almost like opening up a spot for you to look through to see what
Right.
happened there. People say that about different places. There's a couple of haunted places all throughout this country. There's this one house, I can't remember the name of the house. Oh, the Lizzie Borden house. Apparently
Where's
there's
that?
imprints at the Lizzie Borden house too.
Really? Is
Um,
that, I don't know where is that?
I do not remember. I want to say Massachusetts,
I
but
want to say Massachusetts too.
yeah, I'm not sure. I think
Okay,
it was.
maybe.
It was one of the colonies.
Okay.
But yeah, I had it actually when I went to Ireland. My husband wanted to go to this jail in Dublin. I think it's Kilmainham jail. And I told him, I'm like, there's no way I can go in there. Absolutely not. There's imprints, there's spirits, there's no. Being a medium and being a visual medium, it's really hard going to places with a lot of tragedy, because that's all you see is the imprinting and the spirits that are wandering. And they're stuck in that place. They're stuck in that time loop. And there's a lot of, they just want to show you why they hurt, and they're gaping, emotional wounds. And it can be very overwhelming.
What would you say to someone who has a gift like yours? How do you protect yourself?
Well, I have spiritual protection. Everybody is protected by their spirit guides, some more than others. I always make a point to be respectful, and I will listen. I will listen to what's going on and try and offer my assistance, because I have the training too. But if you don't, just watch and tell them, I'm sorry for your pain, and you need to go home if you can.
And it's
Um,
okay to put your boundaries up too.
Oh, 100%. If they're coming at you, you need to tell them you need to go. You're
Mm,
not welcome here. It makes a big difference.
right.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, why don't we do one more quick story?
Oh, yay.
All
This is
right.
a real throwback to way before Athena was doing her mediumship. I mean, we both had some contact and, different
Well,
skills
before we went
growing up.
professional,
Yeah, this goes way back.
it was a fun time back then too.
Yeah, I think I must have been in my mid 20s and you were in your early 20s.
Yep. So I went to go live with Anja for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a last minute thing. I just needed a change. I was looking for a change of scenery, and she was down in the city, in New York City. And so I called her up, I explained the situation, and she said, I have a bed, come here. So I did. And it was really fun at the time. I needed a break. I needed to blow off some steam. And ever since I moved into that place, it was like from day one, there was spirit activity.
Right. Yeah. Well, the house was really interesting because it was a mother-daughter at really tiny Brooklyn apartment. And I had heard stories about it that way back when these women would wait for their seafaring husbands
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them wouldn't come back.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it really is sad. But they made like lives together, you know, the
Yeah.
women, and raised the children together and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate to know the history of the building that we were in
Yeah,
and the
I didn't
area.
know that.
There was also a lot of yellow fever in that part of Brooklyn. So that contributed to some of this, but go on. So I'm just going to add this part. We were drinking, but this is like not because of the drinking that this
No,
happened.
no,
because
it wasn't. Well,
it was
I
too
didn't drink
weird.
that much that night. So I can tell you that this was not drink. This wasn't the drink. So we were hanging out. It was Anja, myself, and her husband. Were you guys married at the time? I can't
We
remember.
weren't. No, we were just dating. Well, we were living together.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. Um,
Right.
so I went down there. We're hanging out, having a good time, and it got late, and we were tired or whatever. So I went to the front side of the house to the room and fell asleep. And they were in the back of the house and fell asleep. And you tell them what happened next.
I woke up and I could swear that Athena was sick, like throwing up, just absolutely ill. And I got up and there was no one in the bathroom. And then I went over to Athena and she was just on the couch, sleeping peacefully. But the water was also turned on in the kitchen. And I think something happened. I think I heard a woman's voice in the bedroom, but I can't really remember what she said. But I'm almost positive that there was a voice in my bedroom when I woke up. And you go on, tell your story.
Yeah.
So the water
So,
was on.
yeah.
I'm clearly hearing Athena like sick. And I get up and there's nothing.
And I did not move that entire night. I didn't even get up to the bathroom once. I went to sleep and I didn't move. And when she told me this in the morning, I got really freaked out because I was like, that means they were walking right around me while I was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to disturb me, but they clearly wanted to disturb the both of you.
Yeah, well, it was a woman, and it was a woman who lived there, and I'm pretty sure she was just very upset about the situation because I was living with someone that I wasn't married to, and then you were there, and she's just like, and we're partying, and I think she was just like, what is going on in my house?
She took it for something crazy.
Maybe not, but just the fact that we were partying, girls partying. Again, old mentality,
Yeah.
like girls can't have some drinks,
So
and have a good time.
I had another visitation in that apartment, but it was from a little boy.
Yeah.
There was more than one spirit in that place.
Yeah.
At any given time. I remember every day I would get ready in the morning, go to work, and I would systematically shut off every single light, go downstairs, lock the door, and leave. And all the time I would come home and there'd be lights on. And I'm like, I know for a fact that I did not turn those on, but nobody was nobody had been in the apartment the entire day,
Right. Well, the landlord actually told me that was a real bad problem that we had. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just remember this part, and it's great that there was when the lady had passed away who lived there before us, they disconnected the phone, and so the phone was shut off, and it would ring like twice a day.
Oh my God.
And that was right before we moved in. So go on. I'm sorry. Keep going with your.
So anyway, one morning I'm getting ready. I'm taking my time. You both had already left. You guys typically left about an hour before me. And so I was just doing my thing, getting ready. And all of a sudden I hear something right behind me call out my name. And I was like, and I just said out loud, I'm like, I'm late for work. I gotta go. And I just grabbed my stuff and I could hear it. It kept saying my name, Athena. And I could, I felt something in that corner closet that was in the front room. I would never go in there. Freaked me out. And I would never put my head on that side of the room either. Cause I don't know. I didn't like being over there.
Was that the little boy?
Out of that out of that, like that corner, and I just grabbed my stuff. I shut off I like ran out the house. I was like, ah! But it was weird because I felt like he used to play like little pranks on me. He would take my stuff and move it to another spot. Like I would put my stuff over in the same corner all the time, and I would find it in other parts of the room. And I'm like, I didn't touch that. I know I put that somewhere else. So
that just breaks my heart when it's the young ones, you know?
yeah, he felt young. He felt probably
Yeah.
about 9 or 10.
Oh,
But
poor
I
kid.
would always feel somebody running past me when I was in the kitchen too.
Yeah, I never felt that. He must have picked you for some reason. But I had a little girl here in my house, and we got her crossed over. I felt so sad though. She only showed herself to me after I became a mom to a girl.
Oh,
Like I had my first as a boy, you know, and
yeah.
she never showed herself to me. But after I had my girl, she showed herself to me. Meaning like not I couldn't see her, but I could see like a fuzzy outline a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's like a grayish thing, and she would watch me in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden I could communicate with her a little bit. And I really loved her. She was really sweet, and we ended up having her cross over when we got rid of the guy. But I think it's for the best.
I'm feeling like, did she die of some kind of sickness? Like
Uh,
scarlet fever or something?
my theory is that she was that horrible dude's daughter. And then maybe that's the reason why he was so terrible, but I don't know for sure. But I know she was young. I got either that she was 7 or 17, but she had such a young vibe to
like
her,
innocent.
and alone, very
Yeah.
alone. And that's why I think she came out to me after I had a girl, and she saw that I was nice to my girl.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I felt like a mom, like a mommy to her. And, you know, it was really sad when she crossed over, but I'm really happy for her because I think she was very scared here.
She was very stuck there too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for spirits when they get stuck because they keep going and they see the world changing. They see the people changing, and they're still the same, and they can't reach out and connect, you know, most times. And yet they see that the life is passing them by, and yet they're still hurting so bad that they can't move on.
And some
And
of them are stuck in a physical place. Like she couldn't even go in the back of my house because we have an addition. So I feel
yeah,
like she was stuck by the bounds of the house.
and that's sad because
Yeah.
they're not enjoying a peaceful rest. You know, they're experiencing pain every single moment, and the spirit world works differently. Time works differently on the other side. So for us it might be 10 minutes, for her it might be 10,000 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Time is weird over there. I've done a little bit of journeying. Well, I've done a lot of journeying over there. And it's strange. It feels really distorted. It's such a weird feeling. Like you look around and you're like, if everything feels dead, like even the rocks feel dead. It's just a very bizarre landscape.
Well, that's not a very uplifting thing to end off with. Let's.
Well, see, the spirit
Maybe
world.
that was one world that you
There's
went
no.
to.
There's multiple spirit worlds. I'm just addressing the spirit world for the spirits that get trapped.
Okay.
There's multiple sections of the spirit world. Some people go to the section where they're getting judged for their past acts. Some people are in the part of the spirit world where they're relaxing and recuperating. Other people can be in the spirit world where they're learning, and other parts can be getting ready to get sent into another body. So there's multiple stages, multiple areas, multiple, you know, parts of the spirit world. It's not just one thing, you know. Just for the spirits that get stuck, it's a very weird, strange place.
Yeah. It's more sad.
Yes, it feels
or
like
angry.
visual depression.
Maybe sometimes they're angry. Yeah, right. I got you.
You know,
Cool.
and you feel their emotions like amplified to the point where it feels loud.
Right.
Especially the ones that are angry or in pain, because that's all you feel.
Right.
And you just want to reach out and tell them it's okay, but you know that that's not really going to help, you know.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that are there waiting. They're waiting for somebody. because no matter what you do for them, they're not going to want to leave that point because they're stuck.
Right.
You know,
So that's why it's really important to call a professional if you find yourself in this situation, because they can cross over, and that's probably the best thing for them.
and do yourself a favor and do not use your Ouija board or spirit board to try to talk to them.
Oh God,
please
no.
You're making a really bad mistake, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
If you know me, you know that I hate that Mattel put Ouija board on the shelves at stores. It was such a bad idea.
I won't let, like, people in my house make fun of me because I am so against the Ouija board. Like, I'm fine with most every other magical tool. Like we talked about in another episode that I have the Thoth deck and I don't care about, you know, like I don't have any problems with that. But the Ouija board is where I draw the line.
I use the Ouija board from time to time. But I know how to use it. I know how to close that gate. And I cleanse the shit out of the house afterwards.
I won't even go there. Honestly, just won't even go there.
It has its uses, but you have to be very careful because a lot of times the spirits that come through are not being truthful about who they are and their intentions, and they might try to mimic a person you knew just to get some time to shine, you know, just to make your life a little bit more uncomfortable, I guess, or to occupy themselves. But you've got to be really careful. That's why anybody who wants, who wants a Ouija, I tell them, like, why are you going to open yourself up to that when you don't need that problem? You know, use tarot cards or a pendulum or runes or something, you know, because those they get processed differently. You know, the tools are set up differently. So there is a little bit more protection and a lot more control on the user's point.
Right. All right.
So anyway, guys,
awesome.
we hope you enjoyed these ghost stories. You know, I'm thinking we should do like a part 2 at some point. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
You know, make sure you guys follow, subscribe, and like our videos. We're on YouTube on the channel Rebel Crow Psychic Show. Our podcast is now up on all the different podcasting apps like, you know, Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. Where our website is www.rebelcrowpsychicshow.com. I'm Athena Silver. If anybody's interested in having a reading with me or a mediumship session or a cleansing, you can reach out to me. My website is www.readingswithathenasilver.com. I'm on Instagram at athena.silver, and I'm on, you know, Facebook and all that stuff too. I'm going to be doing virtual psychic fairs coming up, so keep a lookout for that. I'm always posting different things, so, you know, come check me out. What about you on it, Anja?
I am on Instagram at Anja River, ANJARIVER. Same with Facebook. If you'd like a tarot reading with me, I'm here. Hit me up. Also, please share in the comments your ghost stories. We want to hear your ghost stories.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Please.
I think the best ghost story we're gonna post up on the social media.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So
maybe we should do a giveaway. No. We should do a giveaway for the best ghost story.
All right. Yeah.
A surprise.
Let's do a giveaway. All right.
Yes. Okay.
So
we don't have the surprise yet, but we're gonna pick the best ghost story.
How about this? I got the perfect prize.
Okay.
How about for the best ghost story that you guys leave us, we will send you a bottle of Florida water.
Whoa!
A whole bottle.
Yes, and you can use that to cleanse your space.
Definitely, especially if you got ghosts.
All right, let's do it. Bring on the ghost stories.
Definitely.
Guys.
We want to hear from you guys. And if you guys want to hear a particular topic, if there's an episode you want us to do, if you got a question you need answered, reach out to us on our social media. We would love to hear from you guys. You know, we want to have a conversation with you people. You know, we want to know what you're thinking. We want to know what you want to learn. You know, we're here for you. Anyway, you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. We wish you all the luck and all the beauty that life has to offer. And we'll catch you guys back next time. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening. Night.
Bye.